Okay, we're ready. Who has a radio script ready for us to look at?
We've started.
So, or at least with the joke and some activities, some examples maybe? No? Something that you want us to look at and maybe give advice on? This is your opportunity to get ahead on those 15 days. Yeah. Okay. Nobody? It can be rough. Let's. We will look at Renete's because it seems it's quite in an advanced stage. And then let's look at yours as well. Do you? Yeah. Let me take it on a stick. Okay, in a little while. Let me get it in a little while. Okay. Actually, we have a lot to do. We have 2 hours left. So I'd like in this first hour, so let me welcome the online people. Please send us your comments and so that you can be part of our discussion for this first hour. And also if anyone that's been with us online has something that you want us to discuss, you're welcome to send it also by email to Ms. Lowe. Then we can just easily discuss it. There's a lot that can be said about script writing. We're going to use this first hour or from until 3 o'clock, and then we have 1 hour left and we will discuss the scripts that we have done here. And we will see how it works, whether this format that we have more or less adapted and adjusted and adopted works and how it feels for you. I have 8 sort of points in how to write an excellent script. 1, know your listeners and your viewers. You have to know who it is, especially on radio. You have to know who it is you're talking to. But also on video, you have to know who you're talking to. Because they say in advertising, you cannot have 2 messages, then you have no message. In advertising, you have to have 1 clear message, whatever it is. In radio and video lessons, it applies that you have to know who is listening. You cannot pitch your message to everybody. You pitch it to a certain specific audience. Okay. Okay. It would have helped to know, when are these people listening and so on. It would have helped you to find a profile of who it is. If we had more time, we would have started by making a listener profile and a viewer profile, but we don't have the time. But you more or less know the experience of these people. Your learners are wanting to be adults, but are not adults. They are somewhere between being children and being young adults. So they are interested in specific things. They like music, they like technology, they are more or less probably in the dating scene. So those are the things that occupy their minds all the time. And rather than coming totally out of the blue with something, it's better to tap into those kind of experiences, meet them where they are, and make it interesting for them in the learning sense. So that is how you can connect with them. You have to understand their desires, their goals, their ages, their likes and dislikes, and their pain points. Okay? Because why do you need to know these things? Because your situations that you will use will reflect those situations, so that they know you understand them, you are on their level. Okay. Because we can tell our children we know all about this, but they can see that what we talk about and it's not what they are talking about, so they don't believe it. So it's only if we come in on that level that they see us there, that they believe us. So so make sure that you have key points that you want to convey. Your key points that you want to convey are your outcomes. Don't stray far out of those when you don't have the time. So stick within those points. You have, by effectively connecting with your viewers and your listeners, you stir their emotions. And that is what it's all about. You have to stir their emotions. Okay? It could be feelings of happiness, of inspiration, of excitement. Those are the things that would be nice if you can stir those kind of feelings with your audience. So think about these questions. What do they expect from your program? What do they expect? They expect to be inspired, maybe. They expect to certainly learn something. They expect to be entertained. So see that you are giving those, otherwise your business will close. Does the script align with the expectations? And if you were the listener, would you stick around to hear more of this or not? So your target audience, your listeners and your viewers, what kind of language do they use? That is where you have to pitch your language as well. So it is a little bit between, you can't totally slang in there, but you have to show that you understand the slang, at least. Okay? So you can talk teacher language, but meet them somewhere so they can't turn around and say, you can't speak my language. At least somewhere in the program you have to show them that though you don't speak that language, you know it. It's important. So the first point is know your listeners and your viewers in and out. Know their desires, their ages, their profile. Secondly, now you are starting to write your script. Many of you, I know, feel overwhelmed. There are problems there. You don't have all the content. You have limited time. You have other things that distract you and that you have to get to as well. Okay? So if you are overwhelmed, prepare an outline. This we have done for you. You have an outline, there's a template. It's for you only to fill in the template. It's not very hard. The template helps you that you can see here is my intro, then there's those 3 outcomes, and there's the ending. So you go to that part where you have to write the outcomes, you simply copy paste them. Once you have your proper outcomes, you can copy them into the body of your script. You can copy them at the end. Later on, you'll fix it. You don't have to have exactly the same words. But this means that already now, in 3 of those spots in the script, you already have writing. You have your outcomes where you are saying this is what you're going to learn. You have your outcomes there where you are going to flesh them out with activities and stuff, and you have them at the end. This ensures that, number 1, you've got something on your paper. You haven't not written anything. You have written already a substantial, very important part of the script. So it's done for you. That outline is there. Then you also know that is what you will do. It gives you a guidance for yourself on how to continue. So you have your intro, and your intro has also been done for you. You just fill it in. You decide about the style that you want to have. You want to be known as Mr. Cool, then you find yourself a Mr. Cool kind of greeting, and you make sure that is the pitch and that you are going to take with your audience and your viewership, and you can apply it in every program because that's who you are and that's how they are going to relate to you. Oh, my geography is teacher is Mr. Cool there. So already, and then you put in your greeting. You can do it copy paste for all 5 of your programs. No problem, you've got it. It's there. Okay, we're trying to simplify. So you work with the outline. You are given an outline. It's a matter of filling it in really until you get to the activities, and that's where you have to think deeper and make sure it applies really in the real world. The third thing we have is to sound natural and conversational. Sound natural and conversational. It's very important because if you read something, your audience and your viewers are thinking, I could have read it myself. If you cannot teach me anything, then don't do this. See, so really we are, the world in terms of edutainment media is very competitive now. We have to be at the tip of the game. We have to be at the forefront there. So sound conversational, be natural, don't be slower than your audience. How do we do that? We have a well-written script. You are going to write the script very well. It's going to go through a line of people who's going to help you to have it the best it can be. And now you want to make sure that when it is then recorded or filmed, it will be conversational and natural. Otherwise, it can fall on the ground, really, without achieving something. So you read it. So after you've written it, read it out loud. Listen to yourself how you are sounding when you are reading this. Okay? And after preparing the script, then you can also ask someone else's opinion, but in your case, you have others who are going to help you. Now you have your outline. You know your viewership, your listenership. They have you have pitched it at their level. You followed your outline. You see to it that your script is natural and conversational. The fourth thing now is simplify your script. You have written it down. It's there. You have tried to be conversational. Now step back, step closer, look at it again, simplify. Look at words that are long that you can make shorter. Words that are difficult that you can much easier say in a conversational way. Think always, I'm speaking as to a friend. So the way that you would say it to somebody else in conversation is the way that you have to have it in your script. This is not a time for a political speech. So you cut out unnecessary words by shortening your sentences. If something doesn't need to be there, cut it out. Every word has a purpose. Remember that listeners, even more than viewers, get bored very quickly. People get bored very quickly. You have 10 seconds to hold to them. It's 10 seconds at a time. People are also very impatient. If it's not of good quality, they lose not only interest, they lose respect for you as a teacher. That you cannot afford. You cannot afford your students and your learners to lose respect for your teaching ability. How do they lose respect for your teaching ability? How? How? No, she retracted it. Yeah. Okay. How would they lose respect?
Yeah, they would have a certain attitude towards your lessons and feel discouraged to listen, not motivated, not encouraged. And they will also have that don't care attitude and discourage other listeners.
What would you do wrong to lose their respect? If they don't respect you as a teacher, we are saying they cannot learn from you. What would make them lose your respect or respect for you?
When you use the choice of words you use, or the way you say things that touches them. Let's say you are racial discrimination and ethnicity and those smaller things, tribalist and one-sided, and you are trying to belittle a certain group or clan and that.
Yeah.
Or only focusing on the richer people or families and people that are in towns talking nice, not us, discouraging and discrimination. Actually, that's it.
Okay. So you're talking about prejudice.
Yes.
So we have to be careful because our learners will lose respect if we are prejudiced, because that shows very quickly, especially in Africa. We are very sensitive to it.
They will feel left out and lose interest.
That's right.
Yeah.
They will. Okay. And another thing. Sorry?
I want to add to that. I would say learners would not respect their teachers when mostly the teacher is not prepared, and also when the teacher does not give the learners a chance to take part in the lesson, where the teacher makes the learners feel like I am the one that has the most say, or I can just speak and you guys listen to me.
Really? Okay. That's an important point to remember. Okay, so let them participate in the learning. Yeah, there is. Stand.
Yeah. I think the other thing is also in a classroom when you don't let them also actively participate, or you don't engage them.
Yeah.
And in your teaching methodology is that high that they feel excluded. That can also be a contributing factor that they sometimes forget you are
They
present,
switch off.
because the language or the phrases that you are using are not on their level.
Yeah.
And as a result, they got loose. And they forget that they are in the classroom. And all of a sudden, you will see remarks, just to be practical, or there is an unrest in the class. That is an indication that
You've
there
lost
is a
it.
gap in your teaching of that particular time. There is a gap
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. Yeah, these are very dangerous things. Can you please give him a bottle? So she is saying when the teacher is not prepared, the learners see that and they lose respect. They do doubt your ability. And he's also saying, and what she was also saying, if you just steamroller on, you leave them behind, and they will not reach out to you. It is for you to reach out to them to see, is there someone there that's not yet with us?
Another point I'd like to add out is that some teachers don't have respect for their learners, especially in the world that we live in today, where the kids nowadays are more
Disrespectful.
not in the say per se disrespectful,
Okay?
but their views and points, they don't go back like the olden days, whereas I talk, you listen.
Uh-huh.
It's more about now being very much interactive.
Yeah.
So if you don't respect me as a person first, how can I have any respect for you?
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one because I don't know how it changed. Did it change with children's rights?
Yeah, you can't beat kids anymore.
You can't. You can't say, you listen to me. I talk, you're quiet. You can't say that anymore because now we are equal. Yeah. And then also something that is more or less the same as Anna, what she said, is that if you're not prepared, but then also if on screen you make mistakes, that is a killer. Because me, I like languages. If I have to learn from someone who cannot spell, I lose immediately respect. That person can be such a good teacher, really, but they did not make the time to make sure that their content is absolutely accurate in every sense. I will consider myself to be better than that teacher. That's the thing. If they can spot your mistakes, you have a problem. But then if they point out your mistakes to you, sometimes it happens that you make a mistake. If they then point it out, then everything depends on how will you respond.
And one thing also, just to add on what Anna alluded to, is that I realized the confidence and the command in your tone or teaching as a teacher when you are presenting.
Yeah.
It plays a vital role. Whether people will be doubtful or they will be confident enough that this is what is right. This is
Yeah.
it's the correct teaching taking place.
Yeah.
So as a presenter or a script writer or whatever you are, make sure that there's confidence in what you are doing
And your voice.
and your voice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In your voice and in your approach, because they want to be able to see, might say, my teacher knows what he's talking about. Because, and that is the problem, as he's saying, if you have an actor or a narrator, and they are not confident about the content, it's as though you are not. And that's a very big problem. So confidence in the voice as well. So the fifth point that I have here is pay attention to the rhythm. It sounds like such a non-point, but really on radio and on video, there's a rhythm to the way we speak. We like things that have balance, and we like rhythm in talking as well. So when you talk, there should be the rhythm and flow in your script. So it starts with the script. If your script has good rhythm, it comes out in the narrator and everybody talking. Okay? It's something that is not easy to explain, but you see it when you have the script and you read it out loud. See if it has a good flow and a rhythm. Okay? If this is something that people can easily say. If you are elaborating on an idea, then obviously you have to have a longer sentence. Or if you're making a convincing argument. I don't want to contradict myself, but it is also a little bit longer sentences sometimes sounds more conversational. Okay, so just read it, what you have written. See that you have read there the shortest sentence as possible, but see how it flows. Because you can't, or what I mean is, like example, you are writing about the parts of the fish or something. A fish has scales. It also has fins. The skin is wet and cold and what. It doesn't sound, you see what I mean? It doesn't sound conversational. It sounds like instructions. So in the bullet points, you will have it chuk, 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 like this, because you are helping the eye and the brain to make a connection, short and sweet, and to be able, if possible, to write it down if they are making notes. However, in the way that you present it, you will say, a fish has scales, it also has fins. When you touch it, it's like this. So you give more in the script than you give on the screen. It's not a word by word thing in the graphic. In the graphic, it is just the essence, those 6x6 points. So that's what I can say about rhythm. Pay attention to rhythm. That was point 5. 6, let your personality shine to connect with the listener or the viewer. We said before, you can have a robot. It's important that you do not take the critique on your script writing personally. See it as positive input and a learning curve. Yeah, there's a comment about this. When you get comments, just flow with it. Nobody is trying to break you down. You know, we are together. Of course, everything is becoming automated, and you can have a robot reading excellent, using excellent grammar and all that, but then you are thinking in your mind, you as a learner, do I want to learn from a robot? No. You want to have that connection from somebody like me. So if your teacher is beautiful, if your teacher is strong and attractive and good looking, if your teacher has a good voice, hey, those are the people we want to learn from. It's not fair, but that's how we are programmed. We want to connect and we want to look up to that person. I'm looking at these online teachers that my children have. The primary school teachers are mostly women, and they are very pretty. They are really good to look at. And I'm thinking, it's really nice for the children, because not only do they look up to such a teacher, the girls especially, they're looking up to the teacher and I want to be like you. That is whom we want to learn from. I want to be like you, Dad, like you, Mom. So it's important that those teachers be good looking, because then we want to look at them. We want to hear from them and learn from them. I also looked at some of the high school teachers that the other one had, and I'm saying to him, and afterwards I could bite my tongue because those things don't go away. Oh, that teacher of yours, she looks like a ghost. And no, it's true, you know, I'm always walking past him there, sitting watching his things, and that one, she really looks like a ghost. And, you know, but it's not fair, but it's natural. Because if I don't say it, somebody else will say it. And the woman has to be careful, because, yeah, if she looks like a ghost to me, maybe also she looks like someone else. But I'm worried. I'm worrying that, again, you may make a person, a learner, negative by saying something negative about that teacher. Maybe he loved her. But now I'm saying, oh, is it your ghost teacher? Yeah, it's. Sorry? I'm a rude. It's rude, but then didn't we have names for all our teachers? I mean, my home economics teacher, she happened to be a little fat, and we called her Fat Cook. It's terrible. It's terrible, but it's also natural. So I'm saying, you have your looks as a teacher. You also have your personality. So it shines through, whether you like it or not. So see that you, do you think you have nicknames? Or you don't? You have nice mummies and one nice children too. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, some of us have nicknames all our whole life. When I was in primary school, I was Tinky. That's a small bird. And when I went to high school, when we were sorted, I became even smaller. I was now Mesquite. Yeah. Yeah, so if there's still people from that time, that's Mesquite. Yeah. So, yeah. So yes, it is mean. Yeah, so I shouldn't also do the same to others. So, but let your personality shine through, because you cannot force people to listen to you. It's their choice. So attract them, make them want to listen to you. You do it with yourself, with what you have to offer, your personality, maybe your voice, your looks. And this is where it's easy in the English, but then with the local languages, this is also where the addressing as you, like in Afrikaans, jy, rather than words that sound very formal and is as though you are talking around them. We know we have these cultural things where people would say, Miss, can Miss please help me with this thing, and Miss and Miss. So that's fine. It's a thing of culture. But then when you speak back, speak in such a way as though you want to shorten the distance between the two of you. Okay. And then whenever you can use anecdotes and jokes, use them. Because what entertains us is people like us. Something where you can relate on a human level. So whenever you can, use something like that. Keep it short, but try to use it. Okay. 7.7 of 8, write down your own ideas whenever inspiration strikes. So it's when you guys are writing, of course, you will find it probably very hard to sit down and write the whole script. But when you are in a situation, you think, but this applies, or this could actually be an example of that. Write it that moment, because it can also go away, that inspiration. So remember, while you are in that period of 3 days and when you see an example, if you have recorded with you or something, film it right there, or otherwise remember the situation and explain it in your script to the ones who go out with a camera, so they can capture that situation for you. So I'm just saying, find your inspiration in real life around you and write it up so that you don't forget that. So keep a notebook with you, see it from the real world. Yeah. The last point is just that to write. That's the last point. You have to keep writing. We said already, the first time you write it down, as we have also done with the pictures, the first time it is a draft. That's not your final script. Then you go back to it, and the first time that you've written it down, you are assured that the content is now there. Fine, it's there. You've got it there. Nothing is taking it away. Now, when you go through it again, this is now where you are starting to change it into more descriptive language. Okay? This is now where you come in with, Means was asking about descriptive language. Yes, of course, we are describing, but that's really the second step, is to take the hard facts that you had there in the first draft, you now make more descriptive. Why? You are trying to make it more interesting. But that is not the final even. The final is now where it has to become alive. Okay. So you had the hard facts there, then you described that, then you take those situations, and rather than describing it, you show it. So you don't have to say it's a very cold day if you can have just somebody saying, and So that's how we can describe things and make it alive. Well, so The path to becoming a good writer is basically to write and write and write and continue, because you will edit and revisit and revise all of your things. And in the end, you have to ask yourself, is it alive yet? Okay. If it's not yet alive, don't send it to me, because then, Christoph, then I chop it up. Yeah. I don't want to chop it up, but yeah. So now I want to test you on specific words. Oh, it's my pen. So we want accuracy, we want balance, we want clarity. So if you explain something, you could say, this is how you calculate the average. You add So you do it in an instructional way, but keep it conversational, keep it us. Keep it between friends like that. Look at the script so far and select relevant facts from the bulk. So you slimline the script. Okay? So you've written it all. When you go back, you see how you can condense the script to make it more slimmed. Make sure the content is also ordered, that it follows a logical flow, but it also follows the outcomes, which in the first place must be in a logical flow. Now, rules of language and grammar. This, I think I've sent you. So don't worry about writing down everything. It's better if you tell me. I hope I have enough sweets now. If those are finished, then I still have these. Okay. I will give them in this order. That one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, but first we'll finish these. Don't use the passive voice if you can use the active voice. So let me bring myself and my sweets closer to you. Okay, so you don't say the test was marked by the tutor. You say what? Okay. See how easy it is to get rewards now. Yeah, we are now in that phase. You don't say experiments on gravity were carried out by Galileo. Experiments on gravity were carried out by Galileo. No. Galileo carried out gravity experiments. Okay. The task was found to be difficult by over half the students. Over half the students found the task difficult. I know, it's a question of speed now. Right, so what do we see with passive voice? What is the problem with passive voice? It takes so many words to do, whereas active is sharp and to the point more. Okay, so the task was found to be difficult by over half the students, 12 words. Over half the students found the task difficult, 8 words. So you have saved 4 words. So not only does it take faster, it's a shorter script, you can put more into it. So don't use passive voice if you can use active voice. That's one point. Then use familiar words rather than unfamiliar words, provided that they say exactly what you are trying to say. Don't say facilitate. Say assist or help. That's good. How do you have it so fast? Did you see it somewhere? Huh? So, don't say detriment. Say, we were really detrimented by the floods. Devastate is also a big. Disadvantage is big. Scared is another meaning. We were detrimented by the floods.
Badly affected, down on our knees.
Badly affected or simply harmed. Yeah, damaged or harmed. Did someone say damaged? Yeah, I think I heard damaged. Yeah. And what about this influx? You want what? The green one. Okay.
In order. What happened
Okay,
to the teacher? What
this-
happened to the order?
Okay, the order. Sorry, you have to have one of this. You can save it and then you exchange it with the one that gets the stocking. Yeah, so don't we talk endlessly in the media about an influx of students to schools, and an influx of migrants into towns. What did you say? Arrival, yeah. Arrival or flow in or something like that. But an influx is not a word that you would use in conversation language. If you don't use it in conversational language, don't use it in a script. Okay? We don't talk in conversation about, do you know, Bims, there was really an influx of guests into my house last weekend. Yeah.
There was another word I will never forget. Somebody told us
Yeah.
in an online meeting, please don't be despondent. Despondent. What's the simple word?
Yeah, I think discouraged is probably despondent is sort of when you don't want to respond or participate, or you are discouraged. Yeah.
Discouraged.
Yeah. Do you know what? Those of you who have laptops, before you do it, let me just write down the word. Do you know that we are at the end of the world? Why? Good is bad and bad is good. What is the meaning of the word wicked? Tell me. Is it evil? Bad? Does harm to someone else? Yeah? It's evil, it's bad, it's doing harm. Yeah? Isn't it? Now, go to your thing and and find me the synonym of wicked. Tell me what you get. Yeah? Sorry? Evil, we have said that's what it means. Evil, bad, da da da. What else do you find there?
Evil, harmful, mischievous, corrupt, hurtful,
Yeah?
Immoral, wrong.
Is there anyone that finds anything else? Sorry? Bad?
Playful, naughty.
There it is. There is a certain, whether it's Microsoft, what, I don't know. It is exactly the opposite meaning. It says good, what else?
great, terrific. But that's
Great,
like-
terrific.
That's slang. Wicked is like slang for like.
No, It is a slang. It is a slang. It has become a slang. Oh, that party was wicked. But, yeah. And they mean good. But that doesn't mean you can, in something like a dictionary online, have exactly the opposite of what it's supposed to mean. In some of the programs, it says it's evil, it's bad, and that is how we understand that word. But in what are you using? Microsoft what? Yeah, what year? 2010. Yes, that's the one. Good, terrific, what? But that's slang. So, yes, but I mean, yes, and it is a positive word. But in essence, wicked means bad. So how can you have an authoritative source like a Microsoft synonym program give you exactly the opposite of what the word really means?
I think it's also because the keyboard instead in American English
Maybe. So that is a problem, and that is why we can't use Google for our lessons. Yeah? Florence, you wanted to say something?
Next to the word wicked,
Yeah.
isn't there, between brackets, SL, indicated there? At least if you, because sometimes if it's informal, then they say I and F to indicate it's informal, or SL for slang or something like that. So
No, it just
Just
synonym
such.
and then the error and then it
Yeah.
lists everything.
Yeah.
Fabulous, cool, great, terrific.
It's
caused a lot of confusion.
scary. It is. I really find it scary because people use that as a very authoritative resource for synonyms and so on. Yeah. So the Bible tells us at the end of the world, of the age, good will be bad and bad will be good. That to me is a good example. Yeah. Okay, so give me a short word. No, okay, so we had familiar words is better to use rather than unfamiliar. Okay? Now, short words are also better than long words. Give me a short word for fundamental. This is fundamental. No. Basic. This is, yeah, in the end you can maybe swap 2 or 3 of them for a green stick. Okay, they are not that bad then. All right. So fundamental. Fundamental is again 4 parts where you could just say basic. You saved 2 syllables. Okay. The man was intoxicated. Drunk. Okay. Intoxicated. 5 parts and drunk is 1. So you saved 4 parts of the word. Okay. Intoxicated. Or drugged. It depends what he's intoxicated with, because he's either drunk or he's drugged, or but if there are words that say exactly what it was, or if it was poisoned, then it's poisoned. But it's just that intoxicated is a little bit of medical already. It was yeah. No, but that is a good point. Your audience must understand what it is. Because you tell me it's high, I may not understand it. You tell my children it was high, they're with you. So, yeah. High is like?
But our audience, they know that. Because they are used to this.
That is what I'm saying. You must know your audience to know their language. That Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry?
No, I wanted to.
Let me give you a mic.
I wanted to give an example
Yeah.
of a wrong, it's not a wrong word,
Yeah.
but it's a word which is not very common.
Yeah.
So this teacher set a paper and she said, despite the lion eating the springbok, it also eats what?
Okay.
The audience were the learners from different backgrounds and different walks of life. So these kids didn't know what is despite. So they
What
thought,
is the what?
despite.
Oh, despite.
Yeah.
Despite.
Despite the lion eating the springbok, it
Okay.
also eats who, and what.
Okay.
Then they were asked, draw a food chain, including the lion.
Oh. So that despite it's the lion. Wow. You see something like that. Yeah. It,
No, it's not a joke. It's real life, and it was a biology paper in national exam. We all got angry with the setter because despite is not a word that we use every day. Why couldn't the setter just use a simpler word? Apart from the lion eating?
like what?
Apart from the lion eating the springbok, or
Yeah, but be careful. Will it not now be a part? Like a bat eating it is hard.
it's hard, but despite is like an animal, or it's like a food. It was grade 12. No, but if you could be there, you would see that a majority of the students failed the food chain because they included the word despite in the food chain.
Okay, Esther, can I just ask?
So it's not the children that's
No,
that's
it's not
stupid,
done.
it's the teacher.
What
that's
section
lazy.
was it? Because in all question papers we have sort of questions for everyone, question for average students, and questions for A students. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Okay, persevering.
Yeah, the thing is, it's very vital, as Ms. Lowe yesterday was mentioning, to teach, or your lessons should be based on exams, because learners are failing to be taught or to be familiarized with the terminologies used in question papers. That was the cause of that. Not necessarily the teacher was at fault.
It is
Maybe-
both. It is
It's
both, though.
No, it's not the teacher. At that level, you should know despite. Your language level should be at grade 12 also. That's why we can't compete with other grades. We try to be so low, and we are stuck there. Even at this AS level, we should not keep the kids there. At this level, they should be at a certain level to pick it up there to go for tertiary. So already, for you to be in advance, you should have a certain level of vocabulary or language, so that you can argue with advanced students.
I feel like this is just, when he's talking like this, it's just based on learners. Let me say you have access to teachers with good English. Because what happens when you're in grade 12, but from grade 1 you're at the village, right? And your teacher also cannot pronounce these words. So when you end up in the exam, let's say for some people, you're giving KKG, right, or Sechwana, I know these words perfectly in Setswana, but if you give it to me in English, what is despite? So I've never heard of this word, but somebody at Commerce High or wherever, just like, what an easy word.
Florence?
Yeah, no, he actually has a point because at this level, we're supposed to focus on higher order thinking skills and whatever. That's why I'm saying it's not necessarily the learner's fault that he's not accumulated a lot of vocabulary. When we talk about higher order thinking skills, we are referring to the critical thinking with regard to that particular subject content, but not excluding the fact that the child should have picked up a lot of vocabulary. But we should also take notice of, if I expect the child to know certain things, then these are some of, that's why we have, like, I don't know in other languages, in other subjects, but for example, in English, there are specific aspects or specific topics that learners have to focus on, so that by the time they write the exam, they should have covered all those topics, whereas the vocabulary would also have been built during the time that they were in that particular grade, starting at grade 11. Just a small thing to share with you. There was at the exams, we had to mark essay writing, and one of the topics was writing a formal letter to City of Windhoek, complaining about how a power outage that occurred in your area affected your studies, and when you went to fail the following day and so on. I can I can still vividly remember this because I was the one marking this paper. This learner was talking about power outage who came knocking at their door. Power outage came knocking just because the child did not understand. If you could say there was maybe a power failure or the electricity was off or something, they would have understood that thing better. Sometimes really the language, because we are second and third language speakers of the language. So we cannot, we'll never be on the same level when it comes to English particularly.
So there's two things here. One is you have to be enabled, the learner can only give the information back as he has received it. So if you do not teach him about despite this and this, so that he gets used to that language, you cannot expect of him to suddenly know what it is. The other issue to me is that that was not a test of language. It was a test of biology. So you can only expect this person to put the lion and the what and the what. And if he put the spite in front, it's how he understands that order. The spite, eat the what, eat the what, eat the what. You see? So as long as if you realize that he put the spite because he sees it as an animal, then as long as the order is correct in the understanding, then you can have that compassion. Because it's biology, you could have that compassion of this was a language thing. It's back to that vocational issue where if the toilet is faulty, you want someone to come in and fix it, not tell you the purpose of a toilet. That you cannot expect of this person, because the competency expected at this time is to fix the toilet. So a competency that you expected from that learner was to draw a food chain. And if he's as long as the lion is eating the deer and not the other way around, if he doesn't know what a spite is, it's not part of the thing.
But when he was studying the food chain, where did he see the despite in front of the lion? It was never there, so why would he draw it there?
And that is why where the subjective thing of a teacher comes in. You know, sometimes the same teacher, this teacher would mark it right, and another one not. And then maybe the learner has an opportunity to argue it.
Somehow also, this script or this question paper went through moderation. And should they have realized that it was not necessary, why did they permit it to go through and approve it? So it questioned our system at large as well. Yeah, so I think all are at blame, are at fault.
Yeah.
The moderator, the setter, the marker, and the learner.
Yeah. Now, it is true that actually on grade 12 level in English, despite is not a hard word, but this was not a language paper. So, yeah, many sides to a story. Huh? And at the end of the day, I always remember, I told you about this, this Australian man who said, just show me the shortest way home, that same one. He always said, you have to facilitate, enable learning. Don't put barriers. So you have to try to look for ways to pass him, not to fail him. That's where the compassion comes in, where you realize, yes, it is a wrong word and he was supposed to know this word, but English is maybe his third language. Otherwise he would have known this word. He was trying to use his logic I also taught, I was a teacher at Augustinian school a long time ago. And I know that children sometimes they don't understand. I was giving home economics. So sometimes the children just do not understand the terminology in the book. And then if you have not broken it down for them, they have only that word. And then when they are trying, and somebody said in the stress of the exam, they are trying to recall that word. What was it now? Pernicious. Yeah, there's a lot of issues. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We should probably have a balance between trying to lift the standard and being compassionate. Yeah, and seeing what is the use. What is the use of me failing him because he doesn't understand the word, whereas the rest of it is correct. Yeah, but then it's better if we equip them to understand the lesson before they go to write. And that is why we are trying that's why I was saying, the first time you use a word, fine, use it if you have to, but then the second time explain that word, then it makes the connection with that word. Okay, if I talk about indistinct, the meaning is indistinct. What is a shorter word that I can use? Unclear, indistinct, unclear, maybe even shorter. Give me the shortest word that you can. Sorry? Vague.
It's broad.
Yeah. Who said vague? Was it you? Did you say vague? You don't want this anymore. Oh. Oh.
Vague is also heaviness.
Vague or hazy. Unclear is good, but it's at the moment we want the short words. So hazy, vague.
How about broad?
What?
Broad, like it's broad.
Yeah, but broad is again, and that is the thing now. If we're trying to look for a synonym, it has to have exactly the same meaning. So broad is, the opposite is narrow, or it is specific. It's too broad, it's specific. Whereas indistinct means you cannot pinpoint the exact thing. So it's related, but when you say indistinct, you really mean it's not clear, it's vague. So that's the thing. English is not their language. So the best we can do is with the body language and with the nonverbal clues and with the sounds, we help them to get the meaning so that they don't have to rely on the words only. Okay, so we said active voice, not passive. Familiar voice, words, not unfamiliar. Short and simple words that are generally easier to understand, and short sentences, and remove unnecessary words. So one thing we also see a lot is in the immediate vicinity. Really, in the immediate vicinity, there is one word that replaces all of that. What is that? Near. Here or near? Yeah. In the immediate vicinity, you can just say, it's here or it's near. Well, whatever it is that you specifically want to say. Who said near? Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Okay, and so you have to clear out this classroom. Give me another word, a better short word. You have to clear out. You have to empty it. Yeah. Yeah, some people are in language. Will you give her, please? Do you mind if she gives it to you? Thank you. Okay. Then specific. Always be very specific. So if you say, especially in an exam or outcome, write a short answer. What does that mean to the learner? Write a short answer. Yes, but then what is short to me, is it also the same what you mean? A short answer can be, you know, if I think that a long answer is maybe 20 sentences, then a short answer would be 5 sentences. So, yeah, brief and short, yes, but it's better to be very specific. Write about 20 words. Give your answer in about 10 words. Okay? Specific rather than vague. Then if you, another thing that is also confusing, if you say, many people have allergies, many people are allergic to wheat, let's say, or to egg. Many people. Yes, it's fine if you just want to make a vague statement, but if you want to sound authoritative, if you want to give specific, it's better to be specific. You can say, that's right, a percentage. Was it you said percentage? Was it percentage? Outside, out there? Yeah? Yeah, it's true, I heard percentage. But it looks like you are reading from something. Are you reading from something?
No, I'm not reading. I'm not reading.
You are. No more for you. So, yeah. So it's good to give a percentage. Around 65% of adults have wheat allergies, like that. Okay. So, how about if a speed cop is writing? This man was driving very fast. Yeah, is he going to get away with that? It might be very, because then he says was very fast. Me, I am maybe 85 years old. If I drive 40, it's very fast for me. So it's subjective, doesn't. So he was driving more than 120 kilometers or some per hour, something like that. So and let's say this is somebody says this is a poor quality hinge. What is a poor quality hinge? A hinge that breaks after 500 flexings. You know, a very specific language for a specific field. Okay. Another point is to prefer the positive to the negative. Let's say I have a sentence like, it is not a good idea to avoid the warning signs. Okay? Let's say you have such an instruction. It's not a good idea to avoid the warning signs. Again, I hear there don't, I hear that not. Did you get that on the notes? No? That is very good. So pay attention to the warning signs. So that is a positive way of saying the same thing. Pay attention to the warning signs. An expert witness did not contradict what the accused said. The expert witness did not contradict what the accused said.
Or agreed.
Be careful of agree, because the witness, no, it's all, okay, I'm saying, the expert witness did not contradict. Then you said? I said confirmed, yeah. What I cannot accept is agreed, because agree is something that you're saying, I don't agree with you, I agree with you. But it is more, an expert witness is objective. So he confirmed or supported. Supported also sounds a little subjective. But confirmed is then better. Or what? Seconded is also agreed. Right? Yeah, this one? Okay. Yeah, just earn that lolly. All right. So be careful of negative. There's also another one. Okay, but don't look in your notes. The author did not omit. What is omit? Leave out or fail or whatever. The author did not omit to send in her manuscript on time. The author did not omit to send in her manuscript on time. Okay, I'll give it to you. Yeah, the author submitted or remembered to submit. Now what? This one again. This one. Oh, she's having the pick of the crop here. That's what's good if you have a skill in something. So also be careful, it's best to avoid double negatives. So it is not the case that the students do not have enough time to do the assignments. That is like, okay, not, is it not to not? Yeah. So it's better to state it from the start in the positive. The students have enough time. So then avoid words with double meaning. And that's where the issue of being high and being hot and stuff like that becomes a problem. Since exercising is good for you, include regular exercise in your schedule. So it's better to say include regular exercise in your schedule because it's good for you. Okay? So avoid double things of saying the same thing, and also a word which can be understood in different ways. You need not always use the word and. Try to make it, not use the same word again for a while once you've used it. So also, in addition, moreover, firstly, for example, at the same time, to return to the point made earlier, however, on the other hand, to summarize. So if you say it in a natural way, it need not take a lot of time to say, but it just adds variety and more conversational style to it. Just a few more points. Use the first and second person, so me and you, and avoid idioms. Idioms are not always universally understood. And because of this point of despite is actually really a word that grade 12s should use. Much lower grades. So much less even now the whole thing of idioms. So be very careful to say as easy as pie. Can you imagine the problems of saying as easy as pie? Because that idiom, it's not in their language. So you cannot be sure that they are on that level and that they would understood it, unless it was a language thing and it's something that you have explained to them and it was idioms and they were supposed to know it. Okay. Same with something like know it like the back of your hand. Really, if this is the first time you see it in a paper, you can imagine the problems of that. Yeah. I quickly want to talk about evaluating a script. It is very short. So, you have written your script, you have rewritten it, you have fixed it, you've got your examples there, you've got your activities, everything. Now, you have to eventually look at it and evaluate your script. The PDs there, when they look at your program, these are also the things that they have to consider. After the writing of the script, you refer back to the outcomes that you promised. So that's the first thing. Does it fulfill the promise that you made in your outcomes? That's the most important thing. That is a learning script. So if you have not fulfilled the outcomes that you promised in the beginning, it is a failure. In the outcomes, that's where you list any specific limits and tasks that you wanted. Like you should be able to write an essay of 120 words or more, or something specific like that. Those limits should be described in the outcome, and when you look back on the script, you should then be able to make sure that this has enabled the learner to write an essay of 120 words about this topic, or whatever the limits of the competency that they have to show. Is it clear and specific? When you read through the script, ask yourself, what exactly will this knowledge enable the learner to do? Then you look at the outcome. Is this what I promised? Is this what I gave? What are the features of a good program? This is where you can finish these if you are now tired of them. I will save one for maybe I get something right as well. What is the features of a good program? I'll give you the first one. Sorry? It is entertaining. It is entertaining. There's good content. That is actually the most important one. Huh? It's good content. It has a fresh presentation style. How is a fresh presentation style? It's conversational, dialogue, it's a little bit of story, something like this thing here about the despite lion, whatever, could be good in a language program to use. A little story like that, as long as it's a little one. Doesn't take time up. The use of, no? Use of what? Sound. The use of sounds. And the sounds include natural environmental sound, ambient sounds. It also includes variety of voices and also a little bit of carefully selected music. I think probably in the studio you have music that you add or not. Because it's better if they add the music, you can just indicate a little bit of music here. Because the problem is if the writer adds music, you don't realize maybe that music is too sad, maybe that music is too sentimental, maybe it's kind of too obvious love music or something. There can be different problems with that music. So it's better if you have a small description of what music you want. Light music, few notes, violent music, something, and they will find it. Yeah. It's silence. Silence is very good. It's part of the sounds. The sound of silence.
You are not qualified for the lolly.
You want the lolly?
Yes.
Okay. You are now tired of this. That's fine. Okay, this one. It is a pineapple. Is it pineapple? I think so.
Anything will do.
Okay. Anything but. Okay, so sounds including silence. And yeah, I want now 2 more things for the script. So in evaluating the script, they are looking at these things. They're saying, is it conversational style? Is it good content? Are there a variety of sounds? And is it simplified? Do you also want the lolly? So is it simplified? And then, yeah? Accurate, that goes with the good content. Yeah, well, it must be good, accurate content. No, what I'm looking for is a specific thing. Sorry? That's also important, but that's not what I was looking for. Do you want now this slowly? Yeah? No? What? I'm just looking for very important thing that this program has to have. Yes, the content, the style, the intro. It has to have a summary. No, that's not it. A feature of the program. Yeah. But that's true. Also, you have to see whether the audience can relate to it. Okay. I hope that I find the right one with this. Real life. Real life what? That's what I'm looking for. No. I'm looking for specific situations. What? What are you looking for in the script? Yes. Examples and
Experience.
no. Yeah. Yeah. Examples and I told you. Yes, that's what you said. And then what? You introduce, you have your joke, you have your music, you have your sounds. Then you introduce your 3 outcomes. After that, you are summarizing, that's all. But something crucial is missing there, and it goes together with the real life examples and remember the format of the script. You have the intro, you have the music, you have the little joke. We're talking about radio now. Then you have the outcomes. You say, today we are going to do this, this, and this. Now, once you have done that, you have the summary and you say goodbye. Now, in those 3 outcomes, you have examples and thank you, Renette.
Where's the stockies now?
Sorry, I don't have a stockie now. Activities. Oh, I have a stockie. That's really the last stockie that I see there. Okay. That's all that I will tell you about script writing. Let's quickly look at Renette's script. Well done, Renette, for finishing it. Let's quickly look at it. It is called, do I have it? Program 1. Where did you? Script 1? Program 1. Okay, we'll see what we can do with the Afrikaans there. No. Oh, okay. The series is called Advanced Subsidiary Afrikaans. That's what you call it? Is that what you call it? Okay, program 1, toesprake, it means speeches. Program developer, Anna Nekwala. Nekwaya. It says Nekwala. Does it not? Okay. Renette Besser. Sorry? Is the wrong one? I have my stick. Okay, I bring my stick. Are there any comments from people online? This is a last opportunity for people online to also, with regard to script writing. Just replace that one. Man, CKB. Have you seen it?
The moment you need the computer, then you
Are you doing it in this orientation? Not in profile. That's another thing. Do you want them in portrait? I think so. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we have a script here. Ooh, my neck. Did you put it the same thing where it was? Okay. And program 1, this one, eh? This one? Okay. It's called program 1. BQR. Okay, so it's that one. Okay, here is the script. Boeiende toespraak. So meaning that the lesson topic was toesprake, which is speeches, and she changed it to boeiende toespraak. Boeiende toespraak means like a gripping speech. So are you talking about speaking the speech or writing the speech? Writing. Okay. So you would say something like write a yeah. Skryf 'n boeiende toespraak. Write a good speech. Okay. So you are going to submit it in February. Okay. Now you will have sounds. You will have sounds of politician speech and crowd cheering. Where are you planning to get that? And what speech are you planning to get? Yes, but does it exist? Is it an existing speech? Okay, but then you will not be able to have that speech really written, will you? You are saying you want this politician's speech and the crowd cheering. How are you going to get that? Okay, you're going to have somebody sounding like a politician. Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. If you get someone actually a politician, that was my point. So it must not be a child speaking. Okay, so you have the politician. And if you know who it is,
but we will not bring him into the studio.
It doesn't matter. It is a voice that's in your script. Yeah. Okay, so.
Let's say Harold. She says she wants a man.
Okay.
Honorable Kambrudi.
Kamburi.
Kambrudi. Kambrudi.
Kambrude. Is it like that? Sakwe.
Mr. Kambrudi is known to Namcol. He was usually working at the Abitrat Board in Liberty Street.
Oh. Okay. All right, and then she said, het doel van toespraakvoering te verstaan. Yeah, we cannot say to understand because you cannot test a person's understanding. So you cannot say I will. You guys, please help us here. So you cannot say the outcome is to understand the purpose of speech. What do you call it? Of a speech. You cannot say that, you cannot make that promise that the person will, at the end of the lesson, understand anything. Yeah, but you can. You should be able to explain. Okay? So the person should be able, so don't put understand in the outcome because you cannot take responsibility for a person understanding anything. It is an internal process. So these are the voices, sound 3 principle and sound of bell. Is it 2 different sounds?
Yes, 2 different sounds. But you want sound 3 would be the principle with the sound. It will be a combined thing. The school bell ring and the principal talk. Not like the school bell ring, then the principal talk.
Okay, okay.
We're keeping it real.
Yes.
Real life. So
Okay. Okay, it's like that. Yeah? Okay.
well, still growing the principal is making it. I know, it's the text for the
Yeah, the text is there, just wait. But remember this. Listen, not notice.
Okay. Okay, guys. Just focus with us for a few more minutes. Then you have okay, so she's saying, firstly, to explain the purpose of a speech, then to distinguish between, remember, to distinguish is to point out the differences. It's the same thing, okay? So this is why it's crucial that the outcome must be clear. So you want to distinguish between different types of speeches, okay? That's fine. And a speech to plan and develop a speech in a logical way, okay? Those are the 3 outcomes. That's good outcomes. Then the intro music is there, music with narration. So explain to us this thing in brackets. Okay. Is there? No, it's good that we're going through this now. Who is saying this? I think it is better if there's another voice. Even if what could be good is if you have the same voice telling all 5 your jokes. So that there's that voice coming to say the joke, and then the narrator takes over. Okay, so you have the joke voice. I'm going to put it there as the joke voice at the top. So let's say there's the narrator. Maybe in order, it's first the joke voice. And so you'll put the name of the person who's going to do your joke voice. Okay, so here you will have maybe like that. Okay, so this person must really talk in a way that, yeah, it's not as it mustn't sound like it's part of the content. Yeah. So don't be worried when you get old. You will still do silly things just slower. That's the joke. Then now you are starting that now the narrator. So you have to indicate narrator. Okay. Because when you are doing the script, you must know who is talking. Okay. So all this you can put in the automatic color. Now, me in the script editing, I would say 'n warm welkom. Because to me it's better Afrikaans than saying 'n warme welkom. Yeah. Okay. So in Dutch maybe it's also like that, but a warm welkom of a warm welkom. Yeah. Yeah, hartlik is also fine. Okay. So it's a hartlike welkom, but a warm welkom. Yeah. Do you think so? No, it's not the better Afrikaans. 'n warme welkom. Okay, is it your own style? No, here, hi, there is your personal style. But okay, that's fine. I'll accept that. Okay, 'n warme welkom. Eh? Okay. It is an Afrikaans word, but it's not. Yeah. That's true, but I see here. Yeah, I see here. So this is in the place of that. So you're not going to do this. You're not going to say, I'm hoo-hoo. But you have to, because people don't know who is talking. Yeah, it is after the first joke. Okay. Okay, so that's what you have to add here. 'n warme welkom, 'n hartlike welkom aan al ons advanced luisteraars wat waardeer julle hier wees. It's not good Afrikaans to say you're hier wees unless ons is bly julle is by ons. Maar dit ingeskakel sounds high again. Ons bly julle is ingeskakel. It's fine, but if you are trying to make it warm and so then you would say ons is bly julle is by ons. Ons is bly julle is hier. You see? Now you have me in Afrikaans. Ons waardeer. Do you want to say julle teenwoordigheid, because that is julle teenwoordigheid. So it means we appreciate your presence. Eh? So that is the conversation we're having here, that your presence here is actually a bit high to say, we appreciate your presence. You know, it's like in a speech, okay? It's going to be about speech. But the conversation we're having is, they're saying, she was saying a warme welkom, because she's saying this is like a little bit slang language, because in pure language, in pure Afrikaans, you would not say a warme welkom, you say a warm welkom. Even though you say a hartlike welkom, you say a warm welkom. So those are the subtleties. But then, if it's part of her personal greeting, then she's welcome to say anything she likes. So a warme welkom is also fine. But then it means that you're going to say a warme welkom in all of your programs, meaning that people will just know this is just how you greet. You say a warme welkom. So even though it may not be like the absolute purest Afrikaans, this is how you greet and it's fine. So this is a decision for you, what you want to use. And then the same with, we appreciate your presence. She had it, we appreciate you being here. But then in Afrikaans, we don't really say, we appreciate you om hier te wees, ons julle hier wees. Yeah. So it's yeah. 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 Yeah.
I think somehow, I don't know, maybe the other language will be fine, but since a script writer was given that freedom of their own style.
Not their own style, the greeting, their own greeting.
Okay, I have to. Okay, since the scriptwriter has been granted a little bit of that freedom to approach the greetings in his or her own style, that she feels that this way I will touch the listener, I will make them feel me. And now when it comes to the editor, will it not bring a problem or a bit of misconception and mixed feelings that this is the way I want it? You said I should do it. Now all of a sudden you are telling me this is not so good. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I accept that, because that is why I said, does this now replace this? Are you not going to say who is talking? So if you are still coming here, this is the part where you become personal, that freestyle. This is the part of freestyle. That has to, if you are having freestyle here, then that has to be pure Afrikaans. If you are having freestyle there, then this disappears.
So why will you greet twice?
That is the
Why will
that.
you greet twice? So she will just in the first one, before she say in our verkeersdienst program, she will say, hi, there's a dear, my name is Lynn Victor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Naming high school.
Yeah. So this is generally you greeting on behalf of the program. Welcome to all our AS level learners and all other listeners. We appreciate, the organization, we appreciate your presence. In our first program, we're going to talk about speeches. This topic is part of the Afrikaans AS level syllabus on writing skills. So, hi there, my name is what from who. This lesson will help you plan. You see, so there's from that general we as Namcol or we as who to me and I'm going to tell you this or something. So if you want to, if you want to greet only once, then you will say, welcome, my name is so and so, and yeah, you could then go over here to your name, to say hartelijke welkom, And we appreciate your presence, and then you will say "ek is." Yeah?
Maybe in the next, if we want it to be a formal thing, then if we want it to be a formal greeting in the beginning, a general one, so maybe we should change the wording a little bit. Ons sê still say hartlike welkom aan al ons advanced subsidiary level, wat is level? Leerlinge en ander luisteraars. Then we will have say the program produced by the Ministry of Education, something in that line is general. A general welcome on behalf of the Namcol program developer. Then she can afterwards now come with the personal introduction that Lynette is having.
Okay, so she's saying ek is. Okay. Yeah? You want to say ek is?
For all the subjects, then, when we address her, but it will depend on who will be the writer.
Yeah.
So we will not really enter the name, but just like you had it there.
Yeah. Okay.
I am Nam from Fun.
Okay. From what school?
Yeah.
Okay. Then in our first program, we will talk about speeches. Okay, so this is where you can, you don't need to have the brackets here. But you could have it in capital letters if you wanted to, because that gives an opportunity for the narrator to stress it. Okay, so now you are the writer. Does it mean that you are going to speak it? Because if you write your own name, then the person narrating will say this name. That is a tricky issue to consider. Okay, just remember, the one who's going to say, I am who, it must be that person's name, the narrator's name. Okay, all right. So we don't go I am, we take that one out. Okay, in our first program, we'll talk about speeches. This topic is part of the Afrikaans AS level syllabus. Is the narrator going to introduce themselves? Okay, all right. But actually it's your script. Why would you? That's what I'm saying. You need credit for it, not the narrator.
Then you won't say from where you are, you will just introduce yourself.
But the script writer then needs recognition at the end. Remember, when we get to the end, that the script writer needs recognition. Let's quickly run through the script. In our first program, we're going to talk about, so let me just put this in like green. Yeah. In our first program, we're talking about speeches. This topic is part of the AS level this lesson will help you to write a proper speech for, or an appropriate speech for an event. Okay. Maybe you could say here an event such as. Yeah, because it is a very broad statement to say this will help you to write a proper speech for an event, because in reality there's lots of events and you cannot prepare them for all events. Bigger. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. Right. And then at the end of this lesson, you will be able, but remember, you have already said this lesson will help you to write a proper speech for an event such as maybe a wedding or a politician. Because if you are using a politician, then it includes, without saying, also a political speech. Okay, so at the end of this lesson, you should be able to. But now already I'm thinking, you told me at the end of this lesson, I will be able to write a proper speech. So
He didn't say, that's why he didn't say for Bantam Hariyaku, because he told me covered different types of speeches in the lesson.
all right, okay, okay. I'm coming to this, to the promises. You cannot say this lesson shall go help. This lesson will help you. But you can say this lesson can help you. Okay? You see what I'm saying? This lesson can help you to, and then later on you could, you can list the types of speeches. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain. Yeah, but just give us 5 more minutes. Yeah, okay.
I don't want to take you back, but I think last time when we were talking about this, I don't know if it's going to turn out, we came across the problem of introduction.
Yeah, okay.
When you come to a certain video,
Yeah.
there is that introduction that they are recording
Yeah.
live. And if it's very long, you'll be stuck there by taking and take place and what. So I was thinking if this, I don't know, this friendly greetings and the what, I don't know how, it shouldn't be long.
But that is why it should be something that is doable. It must not be something long and complicated. That's the idea.
Because that alone is always like,
Yeah. No, it's just like something like WhatsApp, whatever. It's just something very short, is the idea. Okay, to distinguish between different types of speeches and to logically plan and write a speech. Then it says, let's start, and then the music starts. Okay. Firstly, what is this firstly? Okay, now why are you saying firstly? Why are you saying firstly? So you start with the political speech. We hear already this political speech. Nee? My dear, what, and he da. So like this, he's reading that, and then either that or you introduce him. A toespraak, a speech. Ach ja. A speech. So you can introduce that. A speech can be political. Then we hear that speech. Another possibility is to start with this. My lieve medeburgers van hierdie mooi land. So then you can down the sound while you are saying a speech can be political, and then you up it again. So then you've created interest with them starting, and then you lower the sound while you explain what it is, and up it again so that they get the feeling of a political speech.
okay, it's not about political speech,
Okay, so you are saying a speech can be persuasive, such as by a politician, and then you can have that. Okay, so again, I'm saying use this sound the best you can. So you can start with my dear brothers and sisters, da da da, and then you make it lower. Then you say a speech can be convincing, such as by a politician, and then you turn up again your sound to show that. Okay. And is there anything else that you want to say about redende toespraak, a convincing speech? Not at this stage. Okay. Okay. Then you have, now you are saying, secondly, and there the secondly is good. You can say secondly, but then you cannot just say secondly and then you hear the sound. Secondly, so what is this?
It's first the start of a birthday song, and then the father starts to talk.
So what do you call this kind of speech?
This is a friendly one.
Yeah. Yes, I know. But sure. Okay, but it's actually good if they hear, if they can connect already now. There's a political speech, then there's this. So secondly, there's a friendly and amusing speech, and then then there's this, and then this speech is, what do you call the speech? Okay, and then you hear the ladies and gentlemen, da da da, the like the school. Okay. Okay, so you don't have to say thirdly here. Okay. Okay, so now you've already pointed out what it is. The thing is, if you had these three speeches, and now only after the three you ask them, do you know what type each was? Then people will say, can you play them again? Like that, okay? So if you already can tell them, we get this, it sounds like this. We sound this, it sounds like this. And then you could maybe test them, like asking, could you see why we call each one like that? I will quickly run through it now because people are getting so uneasy now. But this is good. Then you have your content, you're explaining. We have listened to 3 types of speeches. And you're addressing the learners. You're saying, learners, could you realize what the purpose of each one was? The one of the politician was to convince. He convinces the people to vote for him. Did you hear it? So I think that's very good, nice and clear. Secondly, there was a father. He was friendly. He speaks in a friendly way with his guests. Thirdly, we had the school principal. He brought information to parents about the school. Okay, and then this. Then, if you don't use it, if you are not going to have an expert, then you just kill it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then now, basically, you have now distinguished between this 3 types. So you have fulfilled your first outcome. Okay. Now you have to move on to the second one in a way that the learners know that. Okay? So what was your second outcome? The first one was to distinguish the purpose of each one, the purpose of each speech. Okay, so this is where you have to now say,
different types.
but you have these three types, you mentioned them already.
Die taal, sien jy die taalgebruik moet daarin kom.
Okay,
Is dit formeel, informeel of
okay. Okay, so you continue now. You continue now with each one to give more details. Now you go with the second one, da, da, da. But it would be good if you have a sound here as well, something. And then the third one, you then go to the you mention again what it is, like let's see how to write a proper speech. And then you give those pointers. Okay, here it is. Here, this goes up to after your first one. You have now learned about, oh no, this is your end. Okay, because you could also, after each outcome, you could say, now you know what three types we get, types of speeches we get. Let's look at the steps for writing a speech. Then you deal with it, and then you say, so these are the steps, that we use, so that you repeat it, and that content you give again to them. Now, you can say, learners, now in a few steps, you now know how to write a speech. You have learned that a speech is written for this purpose, and da-da-da, and the speech, and the purpose, and then you can say, thank you very much for tuning in. Please join me again. I think it's nice and short. If you can get more voices, you have those three voices, but maybe, as you say, a school bell to remind us, this is now the principal, that applause maybe to remind us that was the formal speech, the politician, and then what was the other one? The happy birthday, then maybe some those flutes or something like that, yeah. Yes, or a short excerpt of the speech. But either way, maybe when you mention it again, you had the full speech paragraph initially. Then when you mention it again, maybe you have a very little bit. And then maybe in the summary, you have just the applause or the flute or the whatever. Yeah, well done. You have made good progress, and just continue like this. Does it help you others? You see, there are issues, there are teething issues that we have to sort out, but it is there. It is a template we can use, and it's just a matter of getting used to filling it in and being complete. So I am now so nervous because everybody wants to leave me here. So fine, but I'll see many of you tomorrow again for the video script writers, isn't it? So who will we not see here? The two of you? Yeah? Okay, so the others will come back again. That's great. All right, so I look forward to seeing your scripts. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Also, those online. We see you again tomorrow, I hope. Okay, then we want many more comments from the online as well. Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.